The original poster would be Mr. Shymel Drinks.
And is that who had the @NoLove_nut Instagram handle?
Yes.
Okay. Who is in this picture?
Sitting down with the black coat and the red sneakers will be Mr. Shymel Drinks.
And if you could,
Sure. Right here, you'll see this is Shymel Drinks right here. The gentleman in the blue jacket with the black on is going to be a gentleman that goes by the name Jasper Walters. He's a YFN member. He also goes by Lil Man. And then in the all black, you're going to have Mr. Kelvin Watts, or Shell Kel.
And did Shell_Kel_Nutlife, the account associated with Kelvin Watts, repost that picture?
He did.
All right. Now, there's some words on the picture. First of all, what do the words say? Well, or you can read that whole caption.
Yeah, they say, I'm with ya, and he tags Shell Kel Nutlife and Summerhill Lil Man, #LLN, #Mafia.
And is there a emoji at the end of Mafia?
The bird, or the eagle, or the bird emoji.
And is there a emoji, exclamation emoji, and a 100 emoji?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for Instagram, that I'm with ya, exclamation 100 at Shell Kel Nutlife at Summerhill.Lilman, was that caption on the original post by the account associated with Mr. Drinks?
Correct.
All right. And then when it's reposted, do you see some other emojis?
I do.
What are the other emojis?
There are 2 shell emojis, the zipper over the mouth emoji, and then you're going to have a black heart.
Okay. And those emojis, is that from the original post, or is that from what Mr. Kelvin Watts posted when that account posted? And can you tell?
Yes. So it's not from the original post, and you can tell because it's outside the boundary of the original post. It's like kind of overlaid on top of it.
And were those emojis of any significance to you as a gang investigator?
After March 11th, yes.
Why was it significant to you after March 11th?
Because Mr. Walters and Mr. Watts had been very vocal about the deaths of Mr. McMiller and Mr. Ford. So the 2 shells and the zipper emoji were sort of telling.
Okay. And once you saw, and that's Mr. Kelvin Watts posting that?
Correct.
All right. After seeing this post, and when did you capture this post?
I believe it was March 12th around 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
And it had been posted 6 hours prior, so 1 a.m. on March 12th was when it would have been posted.
All right. Now, I want to play for you some additional wiretap calls, but let me ask you this. So let's fast forward to March 14th, 2022.
Is everybody all right? Anybody need a break? No, y'all are soldiering on. All right, thank you.
I may take you up on that offer in about 10 minutes. On March 14th, 2022, did you at some point have the occasion to listen to any wiretap calls that were around March 14th, 2022 at about 9-something p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, do you remember when did you listen to those calls? Did you listen to them on March 14th or sometime afterwards?
I believe sometime afterwards.
Okay. And did you find anything of note to you regarding the calls on March 14th, 2022?
The people that were speaking and some of the conversation that was being had.
Okay. Now, when you listened to these calls, at that time, were you aware of the murder of Mr. Shymel Drinks?
No.
So you listened to the call before you were aware of Mr. Drinks' murder?
I just don't know what call you're referring. I don't know. Which
On
one.
March 4th, the calls that on the wiretap that were on March 14th, 2022, around 9:45 p.m.
I could have, because like I said, I have to go in and review all the calls, but sometimes we're a little behind on that. So you have monitors in there constantly, and then I'll go back on the back end and review and check them. I can't tell you. I don't believe I listened to them originally, but I did go back and review.
After learning of the death of Mr. Drinks, did those calls become of more note to you after learning about Mr. Drinks' murder, specifically the calls around 9:45 p.m. on March 14, 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And why did it become of note to you at that point?
Because those would have been the calls at or around the time the murder was taking place.
And have you had an opportunity to listen to those calls in preparation for your testimony today?
I have.
Hey, what did y'all pulled off? Nah, call me on video. Hurry up. Call me on the video. Call it. Pick up.
Now, did you hear what occurred in that call?
Yes.
Did you hear someone tell someone to pick up and get on FaceTime?
I'm going to object to the...
What did you hear on the phone call?
Basically telling someone to hurry up and call me on FaceTime.
And as a gang investigator, is FaceTime significant?
It is.
Gang investigator? Why is that significant as a gang investigator?
Because it's a common belief amongst people engaged in criminal activity that
Sustained.
Have you heard, in your experiences, do you have knowledge of FaceTime
I do.
and whether or not FaceTime calls are recorded? On telephone logs, are FaceTime calls recorded if you get CDR records, call detail records?
If you pull call detail records, you will not see FaceTime communication.
And in your experience in doing gang investigations, have you heard or seen gang members often want to speak on FaceTime rather than talking on the actual phone where their call details can be recorded?
Often through my investigations, you will see that once criminal activity begins to be discussed, they will prefer to switch to FaceTime because FaceTime cannot be intercepted through a wiretap.
And at about 9:59, is that when this call takes place, when someone says, hurry up and get on FaceTime?
Correct.
Are you aware of the time in which the surveillance video that Detective Hogan showed you? What time Mr. Jackson's vehicle was at the BP gas station?
It should be right at 9:59 p.m. Right, it should be at the gas pumps or parked outside of the store at the location.
And from the viewing of the surveillance video, were you familiar with both the car associated with Mr. Stillwell as well as a car associated with Mr. Carmavius Nichols at the gas station around that time?
I did not know I didn't know who the car was associated with, the other car was associated with at that time.
At some point, did you learn about who that other vehicle was associated with?
Yes.
Now, when you met with Detective Hogan, were you aware if Damekion Garlington was at the BP gas station?
I was not.
At what point in time did you learn that Mr. Garlington was at the BP gas station?
When I went back and reviewed the wiretap data.